Hello everyone, a good day to you all, and thank you in joining me in another mod spotlight in Hearts of Iron 4. Today we are going to take a look to the mod called, well, it was called the former name had been Salty Anarchist mod, but now its name is Anarchism and Monarchism Ideology, Salty Anarchist mod. So, then, for all of you who want to support me, go sure to check out my Patreon page, and you can get the Patreon for $1, $2, or either $5. It will be greatly appreciated. Well, then let's get right into the game. So, well, the vanilla map hasn't changed, but the ideological system changed drastically. Let's see what the mod has to say. The mod has to say massive things, really a lot, but let's see. So, features. It's anarchism and monarchism as new ideologies to the game. Leaders for anarchist and monarchist countries. Portraits are colorized by me, black and white or color photos. Events and focuses generally geared towards anarchism and monarchism. Generic French, Canadian, Australian, New Zealand, South African, Indian and Polish focus trees have all anarchist paths. Soviet and American trees have in-depth anarchist path for the focus trees. So, because the Soviet and the American one have a in-depth one, we are gonna take a look to one of those two. And the generic French and focus trees have a monarchist path. New releasable countries such as Scotland and Catalonia. More historical leaders for various countries such as Enver Hoxha being Albania's Leninist leader. New traitors, new traits, advisors and more. Note, this mod shows in the launcher as Salty Anarchist mod. This is because the mod was originally only adding anarchism to the game, but then I decided to add monarchism. I, however, can't rename the mod without re-uploading it to the workshop and making everyone resubscribe. Direct download. Paradox has a policy that pirated cannot download mods. If you pirated the game, please do not use the direct download link. Source of mod thumbnail, blah blah blah. Update, not gonna cover them. Future plans. Plans for the spring break update. Everyone who has a unique focus tree to get an anarchist path and monarchist path. More unique anarchist and monarchist leaders for countries. More advisor portraits for anarchist and for anarchist revolutionaries. More events for both anarchism and monarchism. More idea icons and event pictures. Better ideology for monarchies. FHQ. Well, there's a FHQ. Go sure to check it out if you have some questions regarding the mod. Link will be, as always, down below in the description. Go sure to check it out. Leave it a like and subscribe to it if you find the mod interesting and enjoyable. So, let's take a look first to the, well, the focus trees of the major countries before we get into playing one. So let's simply go ahead into the game and take a look to the American focus tree, how it changed. So, well, that isn't America. Here we have the USI. So, select the focus. Well, let's see first. We have, okay, we had it before. We have the Socialist Party, which is Leninist. We have the Silver Legion of America, which is fascist. We have the IWW, which is socialist as well, socialist. We have the House of Lincoln, which is actually a monarchist. House of Lincoln. We have the non-aligned party. So these are the American politics. So the current, well, leader is a liberal. So, well, this is the same, but if we go to the right, we can see a complete in-depth focus tree. A complete in-depth focus tree for the American reform one. So, you can either go to the right path, rightist focus, so then you can, so let's cover it. You have to do the political reform, which will give you a lower daily liberal support. Then you can choose between the leftist focus and the rightist focus. Then you can choose once more, you should take the right one, between fascism and monarchism. Once more, fascism or monarchism. Then you can, oh, so actually, if you go fascist, an uprising will happen. An uprising will happen. Same goes for the monarchist ones. Enforce traditional gender roles for the monthly population. So, traditional ones. Huh. All right. So militarism. Was it McCarthyism? So you would go anti-communist then, only after the 1st of January 1947. Then you have various other paths here, like the KKK, endorse the KKK. Well, that's a really nasty one. I really wouldn't like to go fascist. Especially if I would have to support the KKK. No, thank you. I am not gonna do that in our spotlight. You can join the Axis and then you can start the second Mexican-American War. Or you could go monarchist and expand the American Empire. But, well, I don't think there is even a claim to the American throne. While the colorist path is greatly in depth, how you can see here. Political reform, leftist focus. You can either choose of getting socialist or of getting Leninist. If you take the socialist path, you have to reschedule Labor Day, then radicalize the suffragist social justice, reparations for slavery, Native American autonomy, memories of Joe Hill, repeal the Immigration Act of 1918, federal schools, propaganda of the deed, remove our chains. It's not socialist, so steps. You could actually take this path. Internationalism, where in order to go like that, you have to go for internationalism. The question is, how can you get the internationalist path? I don't know. Perhaps we'll find it out in our spotlight. Propaganda of the deed, remove our chains. Yeah. So this month it isn't actually that easy to simply change your ideology, because if you either go socialist, Leninist, or fascist or monarchist, the liberal supporters will always start the civil war. So you will be always in a civil war against your own nation. Then, one big union, you could encourage union membership, outlaw strike breakers, one big union, Christian worker movement. Well, I mean, okay, no gods, no masters. General strike. Remove the spirit, Great Depression. Militant anarchism. Anarchist pacifism. Then you could join the Comintern or go with the workers' syndicates and gain extra bonuses. So, well, you can go for all of these paths. So you can go for all of this focuses if you go either socialist or Leninist. So that's quite interesting. As for the American nation, so then let's take a look to the Soviet nation. So take the Soviet Union, how its focus tree is built. The Soviet Union focus tree, well, it's, how you may think already, it's normal. This path is normal, but if we go to the right path, you will see a complete new one, and you can actually get an Anarchist International. Yeah. But you have to do the Great Purge nevertheless. Or a civil war start, you know. Then here, the political reform. You can go nationalist, rise of nationalism, denounce the execution of the Romanov family, ask for the family to return, restoration of the White Army. Yeah, here also a civil war will start in the Soviet Union. So, yeah, that's bad. Power of tradition. Restore the state religion, conquer Constantinople, expand the empire, conquer Tanatuva, conquer Mongolia, liberate Alaska, anti-communism, return of the white emigre, Russification, restore Petrograd, Royal Army, anti-Semitism, join X as well. Anti-Semitism, I, to be honest, don't like to go the fascist path. It simply doesn't feel right. Oh, it's only a game, I want to go the fascist path. The militarism, military youth, then paramilitarism. So, the Russian anarchist tree is actually kind of, well, in depth as well. So you would have to go to the liberty focus, then you could either apologize for Kronstadt, or go for the democratization. Then reform nomenclatura, perestroika and glasnost. So the perestroika and glasnost would be filed of earlier. Freedom of press, capitalist reforms, freedom of information, freedom of speech, democratic elections. Alright, so no civil war here. So if you go democratic, you don't have to expect a civil war. But to be honest, the democratic path for the Soviet Union looks quite boring, so I wouldn't suggest you going this. Well, the anarchist won, so let's see. Apologize for Kronstadt. Apologize for the Goladomor. Study the free territory. burn the people's stick. When the people are being beaten with a stick, they are not much happier if it is called a people's stick. Maybe we oppress our citizens' freedom a bit too much and we should loosen some restriction we have. Alright, so then Lenin's burial. Lenin never wanted to be put into a massive tomb and have his body on display. We should honor his wishes by either burying or cremating his body. Then resignation of Stalin. Reestablish the Soviet. Then you could go for left unity, so either you could get socialist, you could reinvite the anarchists to the Comintern. Actually, the anarchists are called socialists, yeah, so if you would go socialist, it would be anarchism. That's interesting. Yeah. Then, or you could adopt anarchism and the Osrock would become the ruling party. Then mutual aid, fund Chinese anarchists and anarchist Comintern. Then you could fund the CNT, we could fund Spine, fund French anarchists. That's quite nice, actually, social support. So you could actually establish, well, you could turn America, Germany and French and Spine with help of these focuses quite anarchist. That's a nice thing. And fund Korean anarchists and Korean rebels, and then you could reinvent the Comintern. So Osrock, United Council of Religious Communities and Groups. Well, I mean, why would anarchists be religious? That doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest, but alright. Then, these are the two in-depth focus trees, so let's see what, for example, the German focus tree has to offer us. Well, so we have the NSDAP, led by Adolf Hitler, the KPD is Leninist, the Zentrumspartei is liberal, we have the Hohenzollern Party monarchist, and we have the FV being socialist, so monarchist. Germany, according to the mod description, kept the default one, so let's see, yeah, that's the actually that's not the default one. The German one is actually might as well. That's interesting. But the German has a really in-depth one. Never mind, it's even more in-depth than the Soviet one. Well, so political reform, leftist focus, centrist focus, which would mean you would get liberal, which is a quite short one, or rightist focus. We could reinvite to the Nazi Party fascists, socialist coup. Adolf Hitler would die here. Alright, so Otto Strasser would become the leader, then nationalsozialistische Briefe, Preußentum und Sozialismus, Reich, Cooperative Chamber, Military Youth and Power, militarism, or you could go the rightist focus. What's Article 227? Article 227, okay, trial against Wilhelm II. Foolish Entente, we shall not extradite our emperor. Alright, monarchist focus. Denounce the Kristallnacht. Rewrite the German constitution, King of Prussia, German Empire. That's interesting. King of Bavaria, Emperor of Germany. Hohenzollern would become the, but if you would go the monarchist path, the fascist supporters would start the civil war. So go sure to keep them low, the royal army and then the restoration of the German Empire. But it would end in a similar World War II scenario because, yeah, you know the Allies. Then you can go anarchist as Germany, although the anarchist path isn't complete yet. So yeah, the anarchist path of the German Reich is far away from being complete, how you can see, because all of them actually like the effects. So let's see the French one. The French one on the right side. As for the left here, the French one is actually quite. I think, yeah, the French one is generic. Same should go for the Italian one, I think. Let's check the Italian one. The Italian one is as well. Where is it? Italy even doesn't have one. Italy, does it have one? No, it doesn't have one. Alright. So Italy doesn't have a one. Then let's tag the UK, England, I think. Let's check the UK. The UK. Well, there is the monarchist party called Labour Party. It's socialist. Well, I mean, I wouldn't describe the Labour Party as certainly, well, as certainly socialist. And did the Labour Party only have 1% of support? back then in 1936. That seems rather low to me. Otherwise, you can. The UK doesn't have a anarchist path actually as well. Huh. So, I would say that Japan doesn't have an anarchist path. Yeah, let's take Japan, not Jack. Don't think Japan has an anarchist one as well, or a monarchist one. Yeah, it doesn't. So let's see if the minor countries have a path. We can go this way. Yeah, so the minor countries have the generic path, the generic anarchist path. Like we could do a new way or liberalism, but that is really not well integrated well. So if you want to play this one to its fullest extent, I would suggest you to play as one of the major nations, as either the USA or the Soviet Union, because both of them have really in-depth focus stories. So we are gonna play as the United States of America, the United States of America. Yep, that's our goal, the USA. And our goal is not to turn fascist, not to turn Leninist. We will turn socialist, thus becoming the first socialist country in the entire world. Non-historical air focuses on regular. Yep. Let's get straight into the game. United States, Washington, Philadelphia, New York. Actually, to get more political power, let's see, the Great Depression. Well, after all, I thought it's only a spotlight, therefore let's play on the easiest difficulty. So I can present to you all, well, the most what the game has to offer. So the United States, recruit, and also it's heavily boost strength of the USA completely. Not overpowered, not at all. Oh yeah, alright. So, let's see. We need political power, we are getting 2.5 per day. 2.5 per day, that's currently quite a bit. We will nevertheless go to the political reform. What we are currently doing is not helping solve the Great Depression. We need a radical change in America to solve these problems. Fly on the highest speed, and well, I'm gonna build more of the good old civilian factories without our glorious American country. And build them in the well-developed sectors, you know, always the same. I'm just gonna build them everywhere. Come on, I'm just sick of selecting them all the time. This should silence efforts for a time. So, I'll produce a good amount of M1 Garant. Well, we don't have manufacturers, that's the main problem as the USA. You only start off with bloody 10 factories. That isn't, well, much to say at least. And I only aim to get one bloody destroyer, not really more, that isn't in my interests. So more weapons there. After this I wanna get, yeah, more artillery and then more weapons. Naval dockyards, well, fine, so that's finished already. Let's get, well, we've updated ships, that's the USA. I'm gonna get the Ranger class carrier as well as the Propeller class submarine just deployed. Since I don't mind air, let's get a basic research as always, so we are not wasting our, well, research strength as the United States. There we go. Now leftist focus. The Great Depression has radicalized our citizens. They are not satisfied with minor changes such as the New Deal. They want radical change. A potential revolution looms over America. In order to increase our revolution, I will hire a radical socialist advisor. So let's get socialism on rise. Yeah, socialism on rise. The unions are the driving force of the revolution. There we go. Chromium 15. Oh, I actually didn't read what the second option was. I hope I picked the correct one, nevertheless. Try it with the United Kingdom. Actually, let's try it with Cuba since they are closer to America. What would be the smarter call here? Well, let's see. The workers' revolution. So, the rift between Leninists and libertarian socialists, such as anarchists, has pretty much existed since the forming of the ideologies. While both desire a similar goal of statelessness, classless, and moneyless society, they differ on how this goal should be achieved. Leninists, inspired by the successful Russian Revolution of 1917, see the use of traditional state as a necessary tool to protect the revolution from those that may want to destroy it. However, anarchists argue that those in charge of a state will always become their own separate class and develop their own interests distinct from the proletariat, thus will never willingly give up state power, so the state must be abolished during the revolution. Needless to say, This arguing will probably never end. Which side is more influential in our revolution? So we can choose between the libertarian socialists or the Leninists. We'll choose between the libertarian socialists, thus completing the focus. So reschedule Labor Day. Labor Day is traditionally celebrated on International Workers' Day, May 1st. However, President Cleveland did not want the holiday to be on this day. International Workers' Day is a Rembrandt's Day for the workers who died during the Haymarket Affair. President Cleveland feared having Labor Day on May 1st would embolden the socialist movement, so instead chose September. Let us move Labor Day to, I guess, the 1st of May, to its proper date. Yeah, we shall do this. Yeah, and selecting something. There we go. Electronic engineering. Yeah, we shall move it to a proper day. There we go, the United States. So let's see how fast we can turn the USA into an anarchist country. Well, the industrial workers of the world already have a support of close to 80%. So socialist centralizing government. Yeah, now let's well, before I start a civil war, I will actually let's go for social justice. Yeah. So let's radicalize the suffragists. Let's radicalize them, whatever they are. Emma Goldman was critical of the suffrage movement. She claimed that women were more inclined towards legal enforcement of morality. She also believed it distincted from the more important class struggle because voting doesn't change anything. Whether or not that is true, some of suffrage movement have been swayed by her arguments and have adopted revolutionary aims. So let's, follow her aims then, for sure. Well, yeah, we have to get rid of the American isolation in order to spread socialism across the whole world. So socialism is also anarchism, which I didn't thought it is, because like the Labour Party in the UK, it also says they're socialist, but, well, they kind of aren't. Alright, so militarization of the Rhineland, and then next will be, let's encourage union membership. Labour is the backbone of our society. Since it is vitally important, all labourers should be protected through collective action. Well, they should. And we should get an national consent, the state of California, as well as want to get George S. Patton, the mobile warfare expert. Or perhaps here, the Democrats. Well, we have to choose between one of them. Well, I don't want to choose the New Deal because it would mean lesser support for us. Therefore, I'll choose the Republicans. Yeah, I've chosen the Republicans. Therefore, the Liberal Party did win. Oh, why? Why? Was the mistake to choose it because of the drift defense? I don't think so. It shouldn't matter really if you get the drift defense or not. So, and encourage it, and then, well, we are playing Anarchist already, since all of London, which I never heard of, got the leader of this nation. Next will be Outlaw Strikebreakers, one big union. Let's go for the members of Joe Hill. Members of Joe Hill. In the mind, so let's open this up. In the mind of many Americans, Labour leader Joe Hill was falsely convicted and executed for murder. Many claim he was framed simply because he was a Labour leader. We should take steps to reconcile with the Labour movements. The general strike of January. Oh, it worked! The IWW will become the ruling party. Well, it went that quick. When a large trade union called for a strike a few months ago, no one really batted an eye. Strikes happen all the time, prominent businessmen said. However, politicians and capitalists started growing more concerned when other unions started joining in the strike. With all major facets of industry and service striking, the communist economy has been in the dumps. The state has deployed the army to try to break up the state, the strike, and businesses have similarly hired mercenaries. This effort to disperse the strike only seems to have emboldened it. With a state and business not being able to enforce the authority, communities have started establishing self-governing communes and syndicates. These communes are experimenting on how society should be organized. Some are using labor vouchers as advocated by mutualists, while others are simply using a gift economy as advocated by the anarchist communists. Regardless of what these individual communities do, it looks like the revolution is here and capitalism is on its way out. The tides of history will sweep away the past. Politics will change. IWW becomes the ruling party. Public elections will not be held. Against complete anarchy, which grants political power, game plus 10% for 730 days. There we go. Now we are called the Revolutionary America, being led by what? Emma Goldman. So we are being led by a feminist. Well, I didn't really want to get feminist as America, but alright. So let's see. Emma Goldman was an anarchist known for political activism, writing and speeches. She played a pivotal role in the development of anarchist political philosophy in North America and Europe in the first half of the 20th century. She was a key thinker in anarcha-feminism. Well, well, it's interesting to see that you're gonna go, well, anarchist that way. So we have to get rid of the isolation, nevertheless. Let's see, how can we get rid of the isolation? Here we have to go to remove our chains, so we are doing the correct path. What? We actually can't go for this. Why can't we remove our chains? Propaganda of the deed, yeah. Propaganda of the deed. By committing acts of individual terrorism, proponents of this tactic say it will inspire others to perform similar actions. This will eventually snowball into revolution, whether or not it's true. Capitalists and politicians better be looking over their shoulders. Well, I may fear that actually you are not supposed to to get socialist via the advisor's path as America, because the problem is that you may be never able to remove the Great Depression if you don't remove the chains. But I'm not sure of this. Is there maybe a different focus to remove the Great Depression? Well, I don't see that. I don't think there is. That's an interesting problem. Also, you have to. No, you cannot do this as well, since we became socialist already. Well, that is rather interesting to see. So, how are we supposed to remove the Great Depression then? Well, that is not nice. Is there no way how to remove the Great Depression otherwise? Well, I don't think so actually. If we look to the focus path, the one-on-one. So you will have to start the civil war in order to, well, make the American country, well, make the American country actually. Yeah, so you're not allowed to get socialist. You have to go this path actually. So I have to remove it because otherwise the mod is faulty. So when you play as America, don't pick the advisor because it will not make things function for you. So in order to not start all the way again, simply get the Democrats back to ruling. So ruling party will be, I think, D. So now Alpha London is back. We have to, we can go for a general strike, therefore removing the Great Depression, or we can remove our chains and start a civil war. Well, you know what, let's simply start a civil war in America. Why not after all? Let's remove our chains. Being inspired by a recent Nazi that was convicted of assassinating a high-profile politician, a working class has started to rise up. We have nothing to lose but our chains. So let's see which part of... There we go. Message from the United States, declare a war. Well, we seized the majority of American troops, I think, and of American troops. Yeah, now we're clearly led by the IWW. I don't want to fight the American Navy, therefore I will keep my ships on dock. Let's check our Navy. We have 11 divisions, they're all spread out across the nation. We didn't get any divisions here in the Washington area, so this will fall to the Americans quite quick. Let's get our 11 divisions. There you see, we even don't have many divisions, and crush the unrighteous government with that. We also got the majority of the American industry, therefore enabling us the edge in the battle against the American fascists. We shall be victorious for anarchism! Yeah, that's clearly out of time. Let's go to army focus as well as this. I'm gonna get military staff, army offense, as well as infantry and well, we can already go for total. Yeah, let's go for total mobilization. Yeah, and now let's actually enact volunteer only. Well, we cannot because we have 0 manpower now. Well, that's sad. So we need political power. Is there nothing where? I think this would give us some power. Yeah, the WPI. Now our troops executes. And well, I'm gonna build military factories first, since that's more important to build. Let's build military factories all across our country, since we really have to. But don't forget, we are totally mobilized. We have total mobilization in our country, up and going. Therefore, yeah, enabling us the edge in the American imperialists in this battle. Yeah, well, we can expand really swift and thorough, since we control most of the vital American industrial provinces. This war should be a just one, and we should win it straight away. Let's see, let's use... I'm gonna leave my ships at bay, because I don't want to challenge the American fleet, since we should get the rest anyways, but I can go for air priority on the east coast, and as well as in the southwest, and it would take ages. Therefore, we are gonna do it on the highest path. So the American Civil War, well, the IWW against the, well, they have a weird flag, to be honest. Actually, they are socialist as well. What? Well, let the Civil War end already. We even didn't win. The end of the terrible Civil War that has devastated our land draws to an end, and we have finally reached a political agreement. We now see eye to eye with our fellow Americans, and together we will rebuild our great nation. The enemies that have sought to capitalize on our infighting must now face another American state. A united American state. The new socialist revolutionary America will never be divided again, united at last. This went quite quick. This went quite quick. I don't know why they sent the entire fleet. Well, we even didn't fight properly. We only lost 1,000 units, therefore saying it was not really devastating, but interesting. Our country is back reunited, which would have been with a massive industry behind the American soil. Yeah, look, we can build so many factories, so getting socialist as America will greatly increase your industrial capabilities, greatly. It will incredibly increase it. Just see how many factories we're able to build. That is incredibly. You could get really strong and spread socialism across the whole globe as the revolutionary America. Especially, you could go for the, I think, reaffirm Monroe Doctrine, but you could not entirely influence these countries since it has been removed. Yeah, that would have been quite overpowered to just influence all of the American countries with your ideology. So then I'm gonna take a cut here. I hope you enjoyed this spotlight of the salty Anarchist mods. If you did, go sure to check it out. Also leave a like and subscribe. And I'm Sacred, and I'm out. Have a good day to you all, and see you next time. Goodbye.